After analyzing all possible perspectives on the Skyrim Civil War, I have found the correct answer. There is evil on both sides, and good too. But after watching this video, you will know the objectively correct take, and no matter what anyone says in the future, you will be able to politely correct them.
With all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about?
If you want the details of the proof of all this, I posted 2 videos over the last couple weeks that analyzed every possible justification to choose either side. If you want to watch those videos, you can find them here. I'll also post them at the end of the video. If you just want to hear my conclusion after all that research, well, you're in the right place. The Skyrim Civil War quest is cleverly written to be an impossible choice.
No doubt General Tullius and his friends in the Empire will tell you that I owe them my loyalty. And perhaps I do. Ulfric Stormcloak would say that I owe my allegiance to the Nord people as they fight for Skyrim's independence. Perhaps this is also true.
No matter what I say, there are more than 10 valid reasons to refute me. That is on purpose. If I say Ulfric is right, you can hurl 20 or more reasons that I'm an idiot. If I say Ulfric is wrong, you can find another list to refute me. However, I really do think I have the solution here, and it isn't pretty. You probably aren't going to like it, but that's because the entire choice is designed to be unanswerable so that we argue about it. So without further ado, let's jump right in, and I'll give you the objectively correct take on the Civil War. While I'm not going to give you all the reasons I found, I am going to highlight just a few things that are the most important to understand before I give you the answer. First, we have to understand that Skyrim declaring independence is not an isolated incident. Since the Oblivion Crisis, Morrowind, Black Marsh, the Somerset Isles, Elsewhere, and Hammerfell all declared independence from the Empire, with Valenwood being coerced in doing the same. All that's left is Skyrim and High Rock. If you think the Nords owe it to the Empire to remain loyal when the rest of the Empire is at its weakest, well, maybe you should start by marching into each of those countries and explaining to those people why they are wrong, and that the problems they have with the Empire don't actually matter that much. Next, I think it's unfair to pretend that Skyrim somehow doesn't have real grievances. Imagine if the US had lost World War II, and for whatever reason, part of the treaty was that United States citizens could not practice Christianity, which is the dominant religion there. Then, for whatever reason, Memphis, Tennessee declares independence after a radical and violent political occupation, and a war hero, fresh out of World War II, goes and returns the city to US control in exchange for Christianity being allowed in Memphis. Only for the actual Nazis that hero fought for the United States against to be allowed to wander the US and kidnap people from their homes and torture them for doing so. I have heard and I understand the arguments that the Markarth incident is not what Ulfric tries to pretend it is. These arguments do not hold up. People love to act like Skyrim was free to worship Talos in their homes without realizing that this will never be good enough for the vast majority of people. People say Ulfric was too violent in taking back Markarth without realizing that he was basically left on his own to protect his own homeland, something that should have been the Empire's responsibility until they abandoned Skyrim. People love to act like Ulfric should have known not to do what the Thalmor wanted, without realizing that the Thalmor were openly manipulating an Imperial citizen, which they should have never been able to do if the Empire was doing its job. No, Ulfric doesn't actually care about the religion, but that's beside the point. The grievances the Nords have are very real.
I don't like you. I think you're a heretic. And so you will die a heretic's death. Never should have come.
And pretending they aren't is buying into propaganda.
Filthy Nord. In time, your entire race will be eradicated.
Third, we have to account for what the Nords of Skyrim actually want. If you account for the fact that the Empire installed a loyalist at Markarth after his father was killed by the Forsworn, and then installed another Imperial loyalist at Falkreath in response to the Stormcloak Rebellion, and the fact that Torygg is said to have been willing to join the rebellion in the beginning.
But Ulfric was at that moot, continually talking about Skyrim's independence in terms just shy of treason. I don't think Ulfric knew how much Torygg respected him for that. If Ulfric had asked Torygg directly to stand up, to declare independence, Torg might have done it.
That leaves only Morthal, that is naturally loyal to the Empire at the time of the rebellion, with Whiterun able to see both sides. I think it's safe to assume that most Nords would support independence. If that's what they want, you, the player, should be willing to give it to them. And this is where we flip. Those are the most important reasons to support the Stormcloaks, but now it's time to give the opposite side of the argument. I've given the 3 most important reasons why Skyrim deserves to be free, and as I said before, these reasons are designed to be compelling. If I stop the video here, it should be obvious. Skyrim deserves to be free. But the video doesn't stop there. And it's all because of one person. Ulfric Stormcloak. If I were going to write a story about Skyrim achieving its independence, it really wouldn't be that hard. As I've stated, most of the Jarls already support independence, or are at best on the fence. It is presented as entirely reasonable for High King Torg to be open to the idea of declaring independence. It would take a lot of mishandling to ruin this setup. So how did it get ruined?
Because Ulfric needed a symbol. Someone he could defeat that represented the Empire.
First, we need to take a good look at the man himself. I mean, in my video on the 11 reasons to choose the Empire, more than half of them just come down to Ulfric's faults. I'm gonna make some serious claims here, so if you want to hear the evidence behind them, please go watch the video. Suffice it to say, Ulfric is a lying, self-aggrandizing snake in the grass who is willing to trade Nord lives, Nord culture, and Nord religion, and Nord freedom, all for the chance at him, and him alone, becoming High King.
People are still weighing things in their hearts.
What's left of Skyrim to wager?
They have families to think of.
How many of their sons and daughters follow your banner? We are their families.
Well put, friend.
And to top it all off, he's not that good at ruling anyway, which leads to the next point. Even if Ulfric wasn't plain selfish, the separation from the Empire is going to be very tough on everyone, Nords especially. We need the absolute best rulers in each of the holds to see Skyrim through this transition.
Any fool can see that. For centuries, we have benefited from the Empire's protection and prosperous trade with the South.
If Ulfric really wanted what was best for his people and Skyrim as a country, this would be his goal, even at his own cost. Yet, if Ulfric wins, it is by unseating many of the best and brightest and replacing them with Ulfric loyalists instead. The Skyrim at the end of a Stormcloak Civil War is so weakened, they can barely fight the Empire if they need to, let alone the Aldmeri Dominion, who is surely coming next.
A great darkness is growing, and soon we will be called to fight it, on these shores or abroad. The Aldmeri Dominion may have defeated the Empire, but it has not defeated Skyrim!
The next few years will be a time of famine and stunted growth in an Ulfric victory. And that's to say nothing of the time that follows after that, because next we have the long term. Ulfric has no heir, and all the potential heirs to the throne of the High King in an Ulfric win are absolutely soft choices. Even if Skyrim managed to survive the next period of social upheaval, they will surely find themselves in another civil war when Ulfric's seat on the high throne is challenged. And with him at 50 years old, that may come sooner rather than later. So what's the final conclusion here? Well, I think the Nords of Skyrim have a slam dunk case for their independence. I believe that Skyrim belongs to the Nords. If Torg had been directed, or hell, even if he had been manipulated by Ulfric into declaring independence, it would have been an open and shut case. No fighting, no bloodshed. The Empire's in no position to try and put them down. But clearly the Empire couldn't have that, right? Oh wait, it wasn't the Empire and their greed that screwed this up. It was Ulfric. He didn't want to support a different High King. He wanted to be the High King. Truthfully, I doubt he really cares about Skyrim independence unless that independence comes under him. He thinks about his image, the songs that will be sung about him in the future.
Let the Dragonborn be the one to do it. It'll make for a better song.
And in the present, his main goal is to put himself above everyone else. Ultimately, if the goal is what is best for the Nords, it would be to wait until a leader less selfish comes to lead them to independence. If the argument was for the Dragonborn to lead them, or for someone like Balgruuf to lead them, or Torg, Or even an Ulfric who was more interested in diplomacy and restoring Nord culture, I think it's objectively correct to have Skyrim be free. But as it stands, the best thing is to wait. Ignore the snake that is Ulfric Stormcloak, deny his claim to the throne, and hope that someone presents themselves who is a little less conniving, a little less soaked in blood, and a little less willing to kill their friends over their own desire for power. And if that happens to bring the humans, in their fight against the elves, to a higher station, so much the better.
By and large, the people here desire peace. What I'm not so sure about is the peace we've made with the Thalmor. But we'll keep that between the two of us, all right?
That might just be my opinion, but I'm also objectively correct. It cannot be argued. My opinion being correct is canon in the Elder Scrolls. It's in the lore. There are several books that mention me by name. No, but seriously, I did a ton of research and I put all my findings into these 2 videos, so go watch them for more details.
To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
I post weekly videos, and each one is better than the last, so if you're new around here, name your firstborn child Sistel Ravenrock and subscribe. It helps with the channel. And until next time, I'll see you around.